Welcome everybody to Dear Future Husband, a show about dating, relationships, and love. My name is Bree. I'm your hostess with the mostest. Hey XMGJ boy. It's a lot of letters, sir. Hey Kim C. Hey Hugh. Hey everybody. I'm your hostess with the mostest. Okay, your favorite attorney by day. Your hostess with the mostest every Thursday night, right? So we have a exciting show for you today, okay? And we are talking about these dating apps. And I'm going to give you my do's and don'ts. My guest that will be joining us soon will be giving you her do's and don'ts, okay? And this goes for both men and women. I got things to say for men to do and not do. I got things for women to do and not do on these dating apps. And then we're gonna dive a little bit into marriage. I want to talk to my guest about how she got there, how she went from these terrible dating app experiences to being married to somebody that she met on the app, right? And so that's what today's show entails. I'm so excited for y'all to be tuning in for another week and for y'all to be here. And so I am going to go ahead and bring her on. So y'all ready? Y'all ready to get into this? Hey, everybody. Listen, real quick, though, before I put her on. I need y'all to drop where y'all are tuning in from. Every week I ask my viewers to do this. I like to see where y'all are coming from, where y'all are tuning in from. So make sure you drop your city and state where you're tuning in from, okay? Also, as we discuss the do's and don'ts for dating apps, right? I want you to also throw in what you think. What your experience has been as far as the dating apps are concerned, and what you think that people should, either men or women should or should not do on these dating apps, okay? All right, so let me go ahead and get her on here. Kimmy, you're going to have to, listen, okay, hold on, let me get on. Let me get you on, Kimmy. Hope everybody is doing well today. And that y'all Thursdays and your week was going good. Y'all, this week has been a monster. Just FYI. I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but this week has been a monster, okay? So I have been absolutely looking forward to this show to be the highlight of my week, right? All right. So Kim, come on. I invited you, mama. Come on and join in so we can get this going. Okay.
Hey girl, hey.
Hey girl, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Hey, I can't complain. Huh?
So I'm excited.
Me too. We're gonna get right into it, okay? You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So I already told the people that you were that you're married. So off limits. And I already told the people that you met your current or your husband on one of these dating apps, right? So we're gonna get into all that, but before we do,
he's the only husband.
That's why I changed it. I was just like, her husband, right? So we're gonna get into it, but first, before we do, I want to go through the do's and don'ts of these dating apps because I feel like these people need help out here. Okay, I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot with these eyes, and I wish that I have it, right? So here we go. Okay, now Kim, this is gonna be my first one. All right, man, I'm talking to you guys. If you guys are still on these dating apps, okay, y'all, I need y'all. These pictures that they have you post, right? And they have you post one or more. The ones that are multiples and y'all are having pictures with every picture is with homeboys. I don't know who you are. I've never met you. And the only introduction I have to you is these pictures with all these homeboys, you and your homeboys. Are you afraid to be alone? Do you not know how to take selfies? Like, what's happening? Who am I dating? Is it the group? Is it the one? Who are you, right?
Yeah. Okay, so I have a question about that too, because when I saw like the group pictures, like the dude with like a bunch of people, it's not just like them with their homies, usually them with their family, or like just like with just a bunch of people in general. And I always assumed that the dude whose profile it was the ugliest one in the group. So that's why selfies are important. And you know, like I've never been on an app looking at women. I'm sure women do that too.
Yeah.
They'll like get in a post a bunch of pictures with them and their homegirls, like all
Right.
like out having fun or whatever. And I guess that's fine as long as you have some pictures of just you by yourself.
So we know who you are.
Exactly.
Like, make it make sense. Think about the other person that's going onto the profile who's never even seen you before. How do we know who you are? And I think that's a great assumption, Kim, that you got to be the ugliest one on there, because like, why is every single picture in the group, y'all? So y'all, again, men and women, drop some tips and tricks of the trade that you can put forth about these dating apps. Stephanie says, OMG, I showed my cousin some profile pics. I just couldn't. Yeah. By the way, y'all, for men, when you do the most, these pics get shared amongst the girls group. I just want you to know that, okay? We talk about you, and we talk about you hard. It's a real thing that happens. Huh?
We take screenshots and we send it in a group.
Absolutely. And we'd be like, look at this dude, he's ridiculous. Like, that really happens. So don't be that guy, right? And so that's one of the things I want to point out. Another thing, I didn't like it, Kim. You remember seeing those angry bios that were like really super angry and all caps, and telling women that if you did this, I'm not swiping right on you. And if you do that, I'm not swiping right on you. And you got to have a full body picture or I'm not swiping right on you. And it's in all caps. And they were really angry. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You get swiped left. Ain't nobody got time for your rants on a dating app. You come off really angry, really insecure. Nobody's asking you to police them on the dating app. Just simply swipe left. If the bio does not, fit into your whatever you want it to fit into, just swipe left and keep it moving, dude. Like, you don't need all that on your bio.
Yeah, if you have all caps, like I usually get like to the second line and I swipe left. Like I wasn't like, oh, well, he's shouting at me.
You're yelling.
No.
Yeah, no. Don't do that, y'all. Don't. And again, this is men, right? I wasn't looking for women, so I can't, talk too much about women. I will say this though, women. So now I'm on y'all, ladies. Stop with those long bios. Ain't nobody got time to read. Men are not going to read all of that. Do real succinct bullet points, just like the highlights, of what you are trying to get them to say or get them to know about you. And then y'all can converse about the other stuff later, right? But all that long paragraph and ain't nobody reading your book, ma'am, on a dating app. Nobody's doing that. What do you got, Kim? Anything on that?
Okay, so on the topic of like the long bio, I say keep it real simple.
Right.
Your likes and dislikes, like what your interests are.
Right.
Like nobody cares about, and this is really harsh, but I'm just gonna say it. Nobody cares about how you want a dude that has a car. You want a dude this, and all of that. It's your interest. It's what your interests are.
Right.
And then basically from there, you can disqualify people that swipe on you based on their all caps bios. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So keep it simple. And also on the topic of the pictures, let's go back to that.
Oh, yes, let's.
Do not post pictures of you with your baby mama, baby daddy, your ex or whatnot. I used to see people in pictures just like with somebody of the opposite sex,
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, are they still together? Like, is that the only picture that you had?
That you've ever had? Right.
That person? Is that your sister? So it was real suspect.
I agree with that. Posting pictures with the opposite sex can get a little tricky and can get a little confusing. You're on a dating app, again, like she said, we don't know if that's your cousin, your sister, your ex, a crush. We don't know what's happening. Even if like you went on spring break, and I don't know that people our age still do this, like travel for spring break, but let's, for the younger crowd, let's say you're traveling on spring and you took a picture with this hot chick at spring break, on spring break, and you got your arm around her in a bikini. Yeah, that's not a good look. You're being swiped left immediately. That's just, who does that and why, right? Same thing goes with women. I hope you're not doing that, but if you are, stop it, right? Like, I don't get that. What else were they doing?
I got
being on a dating app and saying you want to be friends, you want a friend or a friend with benefit.
Okay, so I can't knock that. If that's what you want, then you're just laying out expectations.
I feel like you're on the wrong form. At this point, if I'm paying my money for this subscription a month, I'm swiping left on you. Number one, I'm on there to find a mate, right? So I'm not on there for friends. I can get friends on Facebook, right? I don't need to pay to get a friend. So at that point, I would never swipe right on you. Yeah, like, thanks for being truthful and putting it out there, but you would never get a swipe right on me, for me, ever. So.
But wait, aren't the dating apps free? I don't remember ever paying money.
No, I paid money for the premium subscription because I wasn't on here for no games, and I needed to I need to make sure that I had got quality leads, and so I would pay for it. But yeah, so speaking of that, can we talk about that? Because there would be some guys that be like, hey, on their bio, hey, I didn't pay for a subscription, so if I like you and you like me back and we match, I can't see the match. So you're gonna have to send me a inbox. It's like $30-something a month. You can't pay 30-something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna swipe right on you.
Oh, Bree, that was not my experience because I don't think I paid for anything.
Well, I mean, and that's what's up. But I'm talking about the guys who were like, I'm not gonna pay for the subscription, and if we match, you gotta inbox me. I'm not doing that. So I'm gonna swipe right on you. John says, oh wait, hold on. So Daria says all the photos can't have a filter.
That's gonna be
go ahead.
Okay, don't be out here catfishing people. That's men and women. Okay, the way you look is the way you look. So if you are like, I'm not the type of chick that walks around in full blown makeup with my hair all weaved down my back, my hair done all the time. Like, that's good if you want to post a photograph of yourself the way you look, all dolled up to show off. But also, there needs to be some pictures of how you look every day, like how you look at work, how you look on the weekend. And I don't know. I do know some women who walk around in stiletto heels on the weekend around the house and dress up all the time. But I don't know many that are like that. So it's really important that you're not out here creating false expectations for people, because the way you present yourself from out the gate is kind of what's going to be expected of you going forward in the relationship if you get to that point.
Right. So, hey, John. So Mimi says it's open to all walks of life, friend. I don't know what she's talking about. But John says you got to post pics with the taco meat showing. Let's talk about that taco meat, John, because that D'Angelo pic, I can't get with that. I don't, that's not enticing to me. That's not what I'm on here for, right? So I don't like those type of pictures. Yeah, fellas, y'all stop doing that. Stop. You know what I'm talking about, Kim, that D'Angelo, like they showing the cut down here. We're good. I'm good on that. I'm not going to swipe right on that. I guarantee you I'm not going to swipe right on that. Blurry pics, it's a no for me. Blurry pics, yeah. That's no bueno. BK Cindy says pics needs to be within 2 years. Absolutely, y'all. Y'all be catfishing with these inappropriate age pics, right? Y'all used to be 20, but now you like 55 and you putting the 20-year-old pics. Stop that. Don't do that.
Nobody wants to see your glamour shots from 1997.
Just don't do it, y'all. Please.
Don't do that to people. That's not fair.
That's not fair. John says, yeah, I don't have that cut, so no worries. I understand that, but John, it's real out here in these dating streets. What else is there? Like, men would, okay, so for me, I always toggled, and Kim, tell me how you felt about this. I always fought with the fact of once you match with somebody and now y'all are in the inbox stage, right? And you're talking in the inbox, a lot of men will want to get your number really quickly. And I never liked that. I didn't like I wanted to kind of get to know you more and feel you out a little bit more in the inbox. And they would just jump straight to, let me get your number so we can talk, in person. How did you feel about that? Did you run across that?
So I did. I actually did with Hugh, the guy that I married, but like he didn't ask like immediately. Like
Yeah.
we had been talking for maybe a couple of weeks.
Oh, well, yeah, that's good.
Well, I mean, but you know, when I say a couple of weeks, we weren't talking every day over there. But like, you know, I would check. You know, we were like messaging back and forth, and we exchanged. When we finally did exchange numbers, like it's kind of like hazy to me now because it's been such a long time.
Right.
But we finally did exchange numbers. It wasn't a phone call off the bat. It was texting at first.
Texting. Okay.
And then we transitioned. We transitioned over to like, okay, hey, you know, and pretty much like I'd had a vacation scheduled, you know, when he wanted to meet. I was like, yeah, I have to hit you up when I get back. But we didn't waste a whole lot of time like doing a lot of chatting, a lot of back and forth. Probably about maybe a month, like probably like for a couple of weeks. Then exchanged phone numbers, and then we went on a date probably after like we had been going back and forth for about a month.
Okay, and that's not so bad. So John says, okay, please speak on this because it's tough. Too long, and they say pen pals, but sometimes it can be too fast. And you're right, John. So when I say, what I'm talking about is we match immediately. Like maybe the next day they're in the inbox saying, hey, my name is whatever, you know, and then you're telling them your name and they're like, you know, well, tell me a little bit more about you. This is all the same day. And then the next thing is, well, give me your number so we can talk. That's too
much
for me. That's like, it's not even 24 hours yet. That's just too soon. I would like it to be where we're exchanging, you know, where there's a conversation back and forth for a little bit of time. I say 7 to 14 days, right? At least a week. At least give it a week. Show me that you're consistently interested in speaking to me and getting to know me in that manner, right? And then I can feel a little bit more comfortable with maybe giving you my phone number so we can either take it towards texting or on the phone. That's kind of where I'm at with it. Kim, what do you think?
Yeah, and I'm with you on that because if you ask me for my phone number right out the gate, like on these apps after we've just been talking like for a couple of hours, whatever, I'm like, what next? You want nudes? You want me to take off my panties and send them to you via FedEx so you can smell them? Like what? Like what's
so
next?
You can smell them, baby. Okay, that's a real thing though. So let's talk about the nudes. I spoke with a man. I met him on the dating app. We matched, exchanged numbers, text, and then he asked me for pics. And so I sent pictures, selfies, right? And then he was like, no, not those kind. And so I was like, well, what kind do you want, sir? And he was like, you know, something in lingerie. Boy, I don't even know you like that. And I told him, I said, I don't even know you like that. And you got some nerve, right? And he was like, wow, really? And, you know, so I had to light into him and then block him. Saying all that to say, I don't know. Y'all got to read the room, y'all. You know, not every female is going to want to, not every female is going to give you news and be thirst trapping like that. That's not what that is, right? And I don't even know you. And this is like, you got to do better. Y'all got to do better. Read the room, right? What do you say, Kim? They're going crazy over the news and FedEx.
Okay, they can't pay me any attention because I just say stuff, and that's just me getting warmed up.
I like it.
You know, I've never been asked for nude photos.
Yeah.
Okay. I've been asked for pictures of my booty. I don't know if like they meant for like nude pictures of my booty or like a profile to make sure I had one. I didn't ask for clarification. I just blocked them and kept it moving.
And kept it moving. Because who does that, right? Like don't do that, especially out the gate meeting a woman. So it depends on the caliber of woman that you out here fishing for, right? And so if you're getting some of these women that are about that, their profile pictures are showing you extra and you know, and that's the way the conversation is going, and you want to go and ask for nudes or for lingerie pics, that's your thing, right? But you got to read the room, right? And you got to read bios, and by the bios you can tell a lot about a person if you just take the time to read, right? And so not every woman is jumping to send you news. Like that's not even a thing. So John says, should you text first when you get the number or call? Text.
Text first.
Text.
Text first.
Yeah. So once you get to, so wait 7 days from when you match to finally ask her for the number, and make sure you're consistent over those 7 days. Don't inbox her on day 1 and then wait till day 7 to then ask her for her phone number and inbox, right? Be consistent throughout the 7 days, and hey, good morning, how's your day? Woo-de-woo. That's another thing. Don't good morning her to death. Don't
good morning, beautiful me.
Oh, dudes would say good morning. Can I get a picture? And I would send a selfie and be like, okay, here you go. And then they would send me their selfie of a headshot. And then, nothing else. No, how's your day? What do you got going on today? Nothing else. And then the next morning, it'll be the same thing. Good morning. And, can I get a picture? No, okay. So now you're blocked because I can't play these games, right? That's the thing. Okay. Girl, what's another thing? Catfishing with the job titles. I'm upset. Okay, let me tell you why I'm upset. Same dude that asked me for lingerie picture, out the gate, told me that he was an animal officer, and I said,
"What does that mean?
Are you a dog catcher, sir?" And he was like, "Yeah, he's a dog catcher." Don't do that. Don't do that. Just say that you're a dog catcher, right? Let's not put all these extra fanciness on these careers, right? You are a dog catcher, not an animal officer. No, yeah. Animal officer is what he said. Another guy was like, prevention, loss prevention. He said he was like he has some fancy name for it. And I was like, is that loss prevention? Because that's what we used to call it when I worked at JCPenney's, loss prevention. Because it was like security assets management or something like that, right? And I was like, is that loss prevention? And he was like, yeah, that's loss prevention. Y'all,
that's security guard.
That's loss prevention. That's when you trying to get through them alarms at JCPenney's and you trying to steal and the alarm go off. Their loss prevention comes and apprehends you until the police comes. That's what they do, and they're looking on the cameras all day, making sure you ain't stealing shit. And that's what loss prevention is.
And there is no shame in that job,
None. But be real about it though, and don't give it no fancy title, y'all. I can't be googling all this stuff. Okay. Okay. Greg says I told him I was a warehouse worker at Amazon. Okay. Well, if that's the truth, then yeah, that's what you should, don't put no fancy title on it, Kim, did you tell him, because you're an attorney like myself, did you go on there and say that you were an attorney?
No.
What did you say you were?
At the time, I wasn't practicing law, so it wasn't a law. It wasn't a lie. I was working in HR. So I think what I put was like employee relations, whatever. My job was I fired people. So, but you can't put on your bio, I fired people for money. I was employee relations.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So, and if people had questions about, oh, what does that mean? I tell them, yeah, I basically fired nurses who suck at their jobs. That's what I do. I fire nurses. I fire nurse assistants. If you give somebody the wrong drugs in the pharmacy, I'm gonna fire you for that. Like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, but at the time though, I wasn't practicing law, so I didn't disclose that I had a law degree and I was an attorney, or that I was a divorce attorney, because like that opens up like a whole nother can of worms, because you'd be shocked when I would say I was an attorney, like back in the day. I got a lot of questions from dudes about how to lower their child support.
Dang.
Or how to get out of paying it. And they were trying to seek legal advice, and like, I'm real quick, I'll send you a link for payment. You gotta pay me $300 for that advice.
For a consultation. Absolutely. So that's another thing, y'all. When y'all are coming across attorneys specifically on these dating apps and you match, do not try to get free legal advice out of them. That is such a turn off. You will get blocked. Okay, don't do that, y'all.
I might dig and be nosy for a good story at first. Like I want to know your business a little bit, so that I can laugh a little. Cause
I'm good. I don't want to know nothing about it. I'm absolutely red flag. No. There wasn't a lie. It wasn't a lie. It's asking what your employment is, not what your, what titles and degrees.
What my degree is in. Like, hey, what do you do for work? I work in HR.
That's
and
what
then,
she did.
then once we communicate and we start talking about, oh, so did you go to college? Did you go to school? Okay, yeah, I have a law degree. I don't practice law right now because I hate people. And like that. This is what I used to do. This is what I do now.
Right.
But what Bree means when she says, don't lie, what she's saying is don't come up with some fancy misleading title for what you do.
For a dog catcher, y'all. Don't do that.
just say that. Because
what
I said I did at the time was actually my job.
There you go. Boom. I love it. Y'all, these are just some tips and tricks on these dating apps that y'all continue to use. Now, I will tell you this. I'm going to let y'all know what I was on. I was on BLK Black. I did Hinge for like 2 days. I paid the $30 for the month subscription. I lasted 2 days. I deleted the entire app in 2 days. I was done. They could have that $30. Done. Right? I did the Facebook dating app. I 0 stars. Right? 0 stars. I have done Bumble in the past. I didn't do it recently, but I've done Bumble in the past. I think that's about it. What did you try, Kim?
Okay, so I'm gonna take it way, way, way back. To Black Planet back in the day. Do you know what Black Planet is?
I remember Black Planet, but I never went on.
So Black Planet had a dating thing, but like that back then it wasn't an app. Like back then it wasn't an app. Like it was just a website. Like there was Yahoo Personals back in the day.
Okay.
I tried Match.com, but I don't like paying for things.
Yeah.
I make good money. I still don't like paying for things.
Yeah.
So I had an aversion to dating sites where you had to pay.
Yeah.
Because the same people that I would see on Match would be the same people I would see on the free sites.
Yes. So people have multiple, like I was doing one at a time because I was paying for it. So I would just dedicate one app at a time. These people have multiple apps running all at the same time. Daria says telling someone exactly where you work when they're virtually a stranger is a safety concern.
Absolutely. Oh, girl, absolutely.
Absolutely. It got to the point where this last time I was just saying I was an entrepreneur, which isn't a lie. That's what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? I was an entrepreneur working for self, and that's kind of how I kept it this last time around. John says Black is rough. I got some good hits on Black. He says I like Hinge out here. Hinge was deleted in 2 days, and then he said he had to delete Bumble. Yeah, I haven't been on Bumble in a minute, but a couple of my friends met their current boos on Bumble. So, he said he got catfished on Black Planet. Oh,
that's sad. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry to hear that. I will say this. I did have a scary catfish situation, almost. It just happened that dude he knew how to take angles, right? He knew how to take his selfies at an angle. And so when I met him, he was a lot thicker than what he appeared on the app in his selfies. And so I was like, did this man catfish me? And he just gained, but I think he just learned he knows how to take he knows his angles. That's what it was. And I had to figure that out. But yeah, I thought I got catfish, y'all. I thought I got catfish. Did you tell people you matched with on Match.com that you were only going to be on for 2 days? So they better move fast. No, so it was Hinge. And no, Hinge was so raggedy. And so ghetto that I didn't even know I was gonna delete in 2 days. I just got off. It was terrible, y'all. I don't even know
what Hinge is. What is that?
It was terrible for me. Apparently John likes it, but it was terrible for me. And so Stephanie says my cousin met her hubby on eHarmony. And Stephanie,
I did that one
actually. Huh?
I did that one too.
Okay.
It was expensive.
Oh.
And it was the same people from Match and from Black Planet and from Yahoo. Like they all had profiles across the board.
No, I don't like it. Okay. So, and then there's creeps out here, y'all. So be careful. Whatever you're doing, make sure that you are taking the proper precautions, you know what I'm saying, to protect yourself, protect where you live, protect where you work, don't give people too much, and just be careful, all right? I'm just putting that out there. Just be careful.
And I'm going to put that out there too. You want to be careful because I don't want anybody that I know or anybody I don't know for that matter to be the topic on one of my true crime podcasts that I like to listen to, or a topic on the ID channel. And to the point of whoever that was that says, oh, don't tell people how you work. I have a good story about somebody knowing where I work, but it wasn't somebody that I'd met on a dating app though. So I hear you complaining about, oh, these dating apps are trash. The dating pool is a sewer and it's full of turds. You know, I hear you saying that, but pretty much the dating pool is the same whether you're meeting people on a dating app, or if you're getting set up by somebody, or if you're going to the club, or if you're meeting somebody at work, or, you know, your sorority sister is setting you up with her frat brother. Like, what? It's pretty much the same across the board. So when you are meeting people on the dating apps, you at least have the ability to filter out people quickly yourself, like real fast. So on the topic of not letting people know where you work, in a previous life, I was a school teacher. Okay, I don't like kids. Okay, I was a paycheck teacher. I was there for my check, and the kids knew it, but I was good at my job, so I got to keep my job because I was good at it. And I remember one of the other teachers had a former student come up to the school, and me and this guy were around the same age. Okay, and I was a young thing. I was in my early 20s. This teacher introduced me to his former student, and it was like all, you know, like it was all good. Like he asked me out. We went on one date, and it was okay. So he asked me out on another one. I'm like, cool. And he was in the military, bless his heart. So he like went off for a couple of weeks, and he came back. He called me up. It's like, hey, let's go out again. This second date, though, he tricked me into meeting his family. He made it seem like he was just going to go to his grandmother's house to pick something up. And he was like, oh, no, don't wait in the car. Come in. Okay, so we were in Pleasant Grove. Like, I don't know if you know where that is in Dallas.
Yeah.
But the Grove is rough. And so, like, I'm sitting out in his car, and I'm looking around like, okay, I look like a mark. Like, I look like I'm easily stabbed. So let me just go ahead and follow him into his grandmother's house. It's just real quick. Honey, they were expecting me, and they had a spread of food. So it didn't go well. That meeting didn't go all that great. Like, they made fun of how I talked. They made fun of how I looked. You know, one of his aunts was there, and I couldn't tell if she was looking at me or, you know, looking at somebody else because she had a cock eye and she took up most of the sofa, like 2 sofa cushions. But anyway, I was irritated. So I had promised myself, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to go out with him again because I was pissed. Then what had happened was I made him take me out after that because I didn't eat any of the food. I thought they were going to poison me. That's how rude they were to me when I was there. So at that dinner, he goes, you know, I really like you, you know, and I really think this could go somewhere, but I feel like I need to be honest with you. And I'm like, well, shit, what is it now? Like, what?
Right. What else?
And he said, I might have a child. And I said, thank you, baby Jesus. Thank you, Lord, because this is my way out. I said, oh, I don't date men with children. Now, keep in mind, I was like 23, 24. Back then, the dating pool was still filled with men that didn't have kids. So I was like, yeah, I don't date men that have kids. And he goes, oh, but it might not be mine. It could be, you know, anybody's. And I said, well, how do you know? And he explained to me that he and his military homies had ran a train on this chick. So it could have been any of theirs. So, and then I basically broke it off. I was like, yeah, no, I'm like, we're not doing this. About 7 months later, this fool showed up at my job. Now, he knew where I worked because I met him at my job.
At work.
His former teacher introduced us. So he showed up at my job. And he brought the paternity test results with him to my job to show me and prove to me that he was not the father. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why dating people that you just meet off the street is exactly the same. Because that exact same thing could have happened to me on a dating app.
On dating apps, right. You just have to be, you never know. You know what I'm saying? So, sorry, Keisha, for calling you Stephanie. And Ellen says, my dad always told me to be aware of your surroundings, and that can be with people and locations anywhere you come in contact with. That is absolutely true.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, that story is a hot ass mess.
Thank you.
And I am sorry that you have to go through that. And so glad dude is gone, because that's a no. That is
well, he resurfaced a few years ago. He found me on Facebook and he was like, why didn't you want to be with me back in 2003? And I tried to be nice about it. I was like, no, it just wasn't a good fit. He's like, that's what's wrong with bitches. They don't want a good man. I was like, okay, so let me just go ahead and keep it real.
With your old regular self. Right. Like, okay, don't get me started. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good story.
Yes.
Good story, Kim. I like I like that story. Okay. Good stuff. Okay. So then let me ask you, talk to me about your husband, how y'all met.
Okay. So here's the deal. I was living in Mississippi, which is the armpit of the United States. I'm sorry if you live in Mississippi or if anybody is from there. It just is. It's where dreams go to die. But I moved there for this job because it was my escape out of education. I didn't want to teach anymore. Here I was with this law degree and practicing law part-time. And then I got this amazing opportunity to go to Mississippi and work in HR, like be on the corporate side. So I take it. And I was there for about a year. And like I would just like intermittently like get on Tinder and get on Bumble and all those. And like there was another app, like something about it's just coffee or some nonsense like that. Like I would intermittently get on to see who was on there, and there wasn't anybody there. So I made up my mind. I was like, yeah, I'm pretty much done with dating. And I hadn't dated anybody in a while. My husband worked at a grocery store as an assistant manager down the street from my job.
Okay.
I am a notorious Karen when it comes to customer service and getting my way about things. I'm the queen of getting free stuff. Okay.
Not a Karen, baby.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But like, I'm not like the type of Karen that, that I would go viral on video. Like I'm more of like low key, like I'll go on Google or like do like a customer service complaint on a website and get stuff for free. Yeah. Right. So like that's the kind of person I am. So with that said, he worked down the street. Around the time I was getting bored in Mississippi, I was like, okay, I'm going to get on Tinder. Let me see who's out here. So I'm swipe left, swipe left. And I spot my now husband. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I swipe right. Mm-hmm. And he just happened to swipe right on me too. Mm-hmm. And let him tell it, like when he and I were just like messaging back and forth, he said, you just seemed really bored with me. And I might have been, like, I don't know. I mean, it's just how I am.
This is over chat? This is over chat?
This is just over chat. What piqued my interest about him was I'm a geek. I'm a nerd. I like sci-fi. I like fantasy. I like action movies and stuff like that. So he engaged me in conversation about Game of Thrones, which was all the rage at the time. Game of Thrones. And I was just like, oh, so we kind of like started talking about that. And then we, eventually we got to the point where he asked me for my number and he was like, we should just go ahead and go out. And I said, I have a trip planned to Barcelona, Spain, homie. You're going to have to wait till I get back. Because at this point, I'm like, listen, I wasn't looking for anything. I was in Jackson, Mississippi, and I was bored. Okay. So I go to Spain for a week. I did not message him at all that week that I was gone.
Okay. Yeah.
I was out living my best life, and I was over here making plans. Like, oh, I could come back here and I could live as an expat, and I would teach English here in Spain and live, and it's going to be amazing. And so then when I got back, he and I we agreed to go on a date. And we said we were going to go to dinner. We were going to go to dinner at this Italian restaurant. And I am all about showing people who I am right from the jump. So on the day of the date, I sent him a text and I said, so what are you wearing for this date? And he was like, I don't know. I said, because I just want to let you know right now, I'm showing up in jeans, a t-shirt, and my Chucks. I just want to keep your expectations realistic.
That's when he knew, y'all. That's when he knew, folks. He had a winner on his hands.
I was like, yeah, no, it's not gonna be one of these things where I'm showing up all the just so you know, just so you're not disappointed.
Right.
And I believe in doing lunches, even if it's not like a crazy expensive lunch or crazy expensive dinner as a first date, because you need to make sure that the person doesn't chew with their mouth open or blow their nose at the table.
Okay. Yeah. I that's a lot. That's a lot to unpack. Okay. So
but those are pet peeves of mine, because I don't want to see your food as you're digesting it. But I digress. So I mean, it kind of went from there. After those first couple of dates, like we went to dinner. The second date we went to a movie and we hung out. And probably maybe after a month, maybe 2 months. I'm telling you, my timeline is real fuzzy. I might eventually he invited me over to his apartment. Now what I did was I got his address and I sent his address to a friend of mine along with his picture. And I was like, if I come up missing,
you know where I'm at. Y'all, wait, sidebar on that, Kim. Fellas, y'all need to know this. We absolutely send your name, your address to a trusted friend when we're coming to your house for the first time. Absolutely. And matter of fact, I have an iPhone, so I pick one of my friends with an iPhone, and they track my location at all times.
I drop a pin. Yep.
Absolutely, because you're not going to kill me and get away with it. You will not kill me and get away with it. They will find you. I will haunt you. It's going to be bad. You know what I'm saying? So just so you know, right? But yes, that is the thing, fellas. So just know that happens. And then, like you said, send them a picture of what he looks like, the whole nine. You can never be too careful. Go ahead.
Yeah, sneak a picture on the first date or whatnot, to see what he looks like in real time and send it out. But anyway, so he and I dated for 3 years.
Okay.
When we were approaching the third year, I said to him, I was like, okay, or maybe it was the second year. Again, my timeline is fuzzy because I feel like time has flown and I can't remember a lot of stuff. But when we were pretty deep off into the dating relationship, maybe 2 years, 2.5 years.
Yeah.
I just said, what are you doing? What do you want to do here? And he tried to play stupid. He was like, huh? I was like, okay, so where do you see it going?
Right.
Are you trying to keep me at girlfriend status well into my 40s because your ass is older than me and you're too old to be called somebody's boyfriend, because he's 5 years older than I am.
Okay.
And so we had a little bit of a discussion, and I said, we have a trip coming up, because our thing was we always did road trips and stuff together.
Okay.
So we had a trip planned. We were going to go on a cruise, and I said, if we can make it through this cruise without us killing each other, and it was like a 3 or 4 day trip, then we can have a serious discussion about whether or not we should get married. And when I say whether or not we kill each other, I meant whether or not I want to kill him by the end of the trip.
Right.
And he look, he obviously made it. He almost died only once. So
that's good.
I mean that was really good. And what the problem was is I am really punctual. By punctual, I mean I get there early to everything, and we've had a dinner reservation. It was a Royal Caribbean cruise, and if you've ever been on a cruise, it takes forever to get anywhere because you got to get on. There's a line to get on the elevator.
Right.
There's a line,
for everything. To get into the restaurant, it's the line. Yes.
Right. So we had a reservation for 5 at 3:45. He's just sitting chilling. He's sitting chilling, just watching TV, and then I said, hey, are you going to get dressed? And he goes, oh, yeah, I'm going to get dressed. So I went ahead, I took my shower, I get ready, I get dressed to go, and I came out, it was 4:15, and he still wasn't making any moves. I was like, okay, shower's free. Go ahead. Okay, yeah, I'm going. 4:30 came, and I started to get a little stressed because the reservation is at 5.
Right.
And he goes, "They're not going to give our table away, Kim. Relax." And I could not relax. Like, I think my head spun around once. Said, "You are not going to make me late for dinner."
Okay. And so that's how he almost got killed that one time.
That one time, because
I'm glad he made it.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I'm glad that he made it. So let me ask you this, Kim. Let me ask you this, okay? So first of all, backtrack. I love the fact that, number one, you shared that story with us, because you are the exception to my rule anyway of, you can find love through the dating apps, right? And it can work as long as both people are in it for, are willing to make it work, right?
And everybody's honest, yes.
Right, and everybody's honest, right? That's exactly right. And so thank you for sharing that story, and thank you for showing us again that marriage can come out of those apps, right? So bravo to y'all, okay? Bravo to y'all. So let me ask you this. The other day, I was getting my car washed, okay? And I have a friend of mine who owns a detailing business. And so he comes to my house and washes my cars, right?
Wow, okay.
I'm lazy, and I like to delegate my things out, right? Because I don't have time to, anyway, that's a whole nother show. So so he comes to my house and he washes my cars. And so we were talking, and he was saying, he was like, I went out on a date the other day, and now I'm having to start telling women, because they like to use guys for money, that we're going Dutch on the first date. And I told him I would never say agree to that, sir, with you, and we just won't ever go on a date. If you ever came at me and said, I want to take you out on a date, but you got to pay for yours, I got to pay for mine, because I need to make sure that you hear.
Not a date.
Huh?
That's not a date then.
That ain't what that is. But that's what, and now he's an older gentleman, okay? So he's older, so he got to be like 46, 47. He's not no young cat, all right? And he out here and these females are paying for their own dates. And I told him, I said, I'm old school. So if a man is approaching me and asking me out on a date, I expect for that. Now, I'm not expecting to be taken to, you don't have to take me to the high-end restaurant. That's not what I'm asking for, right? But I am asking that you pay for that first date. And he was like, well, I take them then. If that's the case, then I'll take them to Applebee's or Chili's. I was like, well, I don't do Applebee's, but I love Chili's. You know what I'm saying? I can get down with Chili's, 54th Street Grill, all that. I can get down with all that.
54th Street Grill, yes.
But you're not going to take me, you're not going to make me pay Dutch. I'm not doing it. I'm not accepting that. What is your thoughts on that?
So I will say this. On a first, second, or third date, I'm not paying for my own meal. If I'm going to be paying for my own meal, I'm going to be going by myself. Especially if I'm the one being pursued. Especially if you ask me, you're trying to spend time with me. Like, now, to each woman her own. I cannot throw a rock at any woman that's willing to pay for her own meal. I'm just not going to pay for my own meal, movie ticket, or any of that those first few dates. And with my husband, like the first couple of months, like, I mean, he covered it. He's a grown-ass man. So this is my thoughts about that. If you are in your mid to late 40s and you're still talking this bullshit like a dude who's 19, 20 talking about he doesn't want to be free mealed and free movied, if you're that strapped for cash that you can't spend $10 on a movie ticket, sit your ass at home by yourself and watch Netflix.
How about that? Okay? Because you can't be approaching grown-ass women. We're talking about grown women. We're talking about grown women with careers, may or may not have a child. You know what I'm saying? But they got their shit together. They got their own house, their own cars, things of that nature. Their life is in order. You can't come in to a woman that got her life in order and her things together and say, hey, I want to take you out. I'm interested in you, but we got to go Dutch because I don't want you to want me for my money. So I have my own money. And like she said, I can take my own self out if that's what I really want to do. And you know what I'm saying? And pay for my own self and not even have to look at your old big lipped ass on the other side of the table. Do not pay me and try to.
I have a niece who's 17 years old, who's about to be 18, that I acquired through this marriage. If she were to come to me and she were to tell me, this guy wants to take me out, but we have to go Dutch on the first date, I will tell her, well, you sit your ass in your dorm room, you're not going.
Right. And I told him, and I explained to him why that was not a good outlook, and like a woman like me, why that would not, he would never ever bag a woman like me, because that would never be okay. And he understood, and then that's when he kind of was like, okay, well then it'll be Chili's, whatever. Like, that ain't, you're not hurting me, but I like Chili's. You ain't hurting me by taking me to
you're that strapped for cash, stay home. Like, it's giving broke energy. So I mean,
it's giving no energy, because you're not gonna get none from me with that foolishness. You know what I'm saying? And then so Keisha says, I swiped the guy on the app saying on the first date we're going Dutch on his profile. Yeah, okay, so guys, come on. Again, you got to figure out what you're on the app for and what kind of caliber of woman that you're trying to catch. If you're trying to catch a higher caliber woman, again, at this age, we have our own things. If we're single, we have our own things, and we out here, you know what I'm saying, doing a damn thing. We are not interested in your fun, sir, but we are interested in your effort, and that shows effort, okay? So come with it, or, you know, stay home and, like Kim says, watch Netflix by yourself. BK Cindy says, how about we do coffee lunch dates if you don't want to come out of pocket?
I'm still gonna pay for my coffee or my lunch on those first few dates. I mean, if you are pursuing me, like, what she's trying to say is, you don't have to spend a whole lot of money.
Right.
You can say, hey, go meet me at this coffee shop. You can buy me a coffee and a pastry, and we sit and chop it up. But I'm going to pay for my blueberry scone and for my iced tea lemonade with passion tea venti. You're going, and I'm not the tiny cup. You're going to pay for my venti. Sorry.
And so what I think what men misunderstand, again, not every woman is like that. Some women are looking for free meals. But again, you got to read the room, and you got to be vetting these women a little better than that. So we're talking about a higher caliber woman, right? So we're not in it because of what we can get from you, y'all. We understand that most single women would rather be at home alone in peace than have to get dressed, put on makeup, do hair to come out and sit with you, and it be a whole bunch of foolishness, right? So we're not after you for the money. It's more so the effort. What effort are you showing us and pursuing us to take us out? You asked us out, so then do the right thing and pay for that outing. And again, like she said, it doesn't have to be expensive. A Starbucks date works, right? Chili's works. You know, 54th Street Grill works. But don't come at me with the Dutch. That ain't gonna, I'm not getting dressed for that. You can go find somebody else to play them games with. And so Daria said that's a slap in the face. It is. And BK Cindy says, right, you don't have to spend hundreds on a dinner. If you want to pursue me, put in the time and the effort and the attention, fellas. That's what we're looking for, is those three things. If you can do that, okay, you're going somewhere, right? And also, that separates you from the others, because there's a lot of men out here that are not willing to put in the time, attention, and effort. They are not. So you do those things, you're setting yourself apart. And that's just the realest thing ever that we can tell you on today's episode, right?
And also, you'll know after that first date or so if your time has been being wasted. Right. You just will. Like, you can tell if your time is being wasted. If she's responding to text messages, if she's calling you back, if she's making efforts to contact you first, like, you're not always the one to initiate the contact. Like, if she's showing you, like, if she's reciprocating
that effort,
that know if your time and your money is being wasted.
It's being wasted, right?
And there are people like me and like Bree here. Listen, when I was single, I wasn't trying to waste people's time. In fact, if I got there and I was not having a good time on these dates, sometimes it wouldn't even get to the point where I would order. I would just be like, you know what, I gotta go, and I would peace out.
Yeah. And just so y'all know, men, and this is, we're talking to you guys, men, first of all, if you tell her, hey, do you want to meet up for Starbucks? If she starts whining and complaining and acting like she's offended, or acting like, why don't you, starts naming higher end restaurants that cost hundreds of dollars for an appetizer on the first date. Okay, now you know who you're dealing with, right? Most women, again, who are not after your money, would appreciate a midday break at a Starbucks to come sit down with you for a little bit and talk to you and chit chat and chop it up, right? You know, when y'all are done with your little lunch date, you know, does she, you know, thank you, just simple basic human decency. Does she, you know, I really appreciate this, thank you for, you know, taking me to lunch. Does she do those type of things? Those are the things and the characteristics you need to be looking out for, right? But you absolutely don't have to take a chick, you know, to the most high-end restaurant on your first date. That's not what we're saying.
Lowry's or Nick and Sam's on the first date.
There you go. Okay. Okay. Anything else? Daria says a Brazilian steakhouse on the first date is a sus. LOL. I feel like they think if they go all out, that means they're gonna get some. Yeah. Listen, you're not gonna get any from me for a steak. Because again, if I really want a steak, I'll just go get one. Right? I don't have to put out for a T-bone. So there's that.
I think that that's an unfair generalization. I mean, if he wants to pay for that, then I say let him. You don't have to do anything that you don't want to do.
Right. But just also, again, just realize that a T-bone just ain't finna. It shouldn't do it, right?
Or
so,
ribeye.
Right. It shouldn't. You know, some warm biscuits. It shouldn't do it. So that is definitely something you should look out for. And yeah, I guess it depends on that man, Daria. You know, if that man is trying to what that means. I don't know. I'm at the point, and Kim, let me know if you feel the same way. I am now at the point in my life and at the age and at the income point in my life now that even the Brazilian steakhouse ain't that deep for me. You know what I'm saying? Like if that's again, it depends on who you're dealing with, you know? But it just, it ain't, you know, it's not going to move mountains. It's nice, but it's not going to move mountains and make me be like, oh my God, he took, you know? Again, I would be better off, you would be better off taking me to 54th Street Grill, to be honest with you. So we can
like Hop Dottie.
You like what?
Hop Dottie, you know, that.
Oh, Hop Dottie, yeah. That's a good one.
But I mean, like at this point, like we are not the kind of women who aren't used to things because we can take ourselves to the. I like to at least once a month go and sit down by myself.
Yeah.
Have a nice dinner and I'll order a glass of wine and I pretend like I'm a rich lady.
You make me sick. You know what I mean? Not pretend I'm a rich lady. Okay, but you're right. You're right. We're at the point now where we can treat ourselves, right? So like one of my favorite restaurants is Papados, believe it or not. Like I love Papados, right? Mm-hmm. And so I don't want nobody to make a big deal about it because I take my daughter to Papados, right? So like if you want to take me to Papados, okay, I appreciate it. I love Papados, right? But don't read more into that than what that is. Again, like she said, Hop Daddy, 54th Street Grill, Jake's Burger, you know, like take me to a decent food truck and I'm happy. I like food. So, I mean, you can't lose me with food. You know what I'm saying? So,
it's for me to see if you chew with your mouth open or if you blow your nose at the table. And also like for me to just sit, chat with you and get to know you.
And that's the important part. And you know how they say don't take your first dates shouldn't be at a movie? I love movies, number one. And I talk during the movies. I can never understand what they said. For some reason, my hearing doesn't work in the movie theaters. So I'm the one that's like, what did they say? What did they say? Why did she do that? Ah, right? So that's me. And so my dream man sits there and sniggles with me in the movie theater and talks back and forth to me. That's my dream man, okay? And so I need to take this man to the movie to see if he's trying to shut me up. Because if you're trying to shut me up in the movies, you're out of there, sir.
Yeah.
Out of there. So, I'm not shutting up in the movies.
Our second date, Hugh took me to see a Planet of the Apes movie. It was the very last one that came out, the one where the apes were riding the horses. And so like we're we're sitting there in the movie theater, and Hugh Top says like stupid stuff in the movie theater too. Yeah. So he leans over to me and he whispers, yo, that horse is stressed. On the horse, and like I started laughing, and I swear to you, I could not stop. Tears.
Oh, that's funny. Like, that's my love language. That's my love language. So, you know, I gotta take you to the movies to see what, you know, how you gonna handle it. And that's the realest thing ever. So BK Cindy says first couple of days you normally meeting their representative anyway. Takes more than 3 days to start to see who the person is. And that is absolutely correct. I agree with you, BK Cindy. And that's what I'm saying. Just keep it low key, fellas. You don't have to do too much. You ain't got to do too much. You know, you don't have to go Dutch. Don't do too little either, right? But just keep it nice and simple. Like the first date can be, you know, one of the many places that we've named over and over again in this episode. And then maybe a second place can be something simple, like take her to a park or something. You know what I'm saying?
I love the aquarium, but don't invite me to the gym. I don't want to work out.
Do not invite me. That is not a thing, y'all. I had a guy do that. And he was like, you know, he was like, you know, I like to work out. I was like, yeah, I work out too. And he took that as an invitation to meet at the gym at Lifetime, Planet Fitness, whatever it was. And I said, no, I don't want to do that. That's not a date to me. I thought you said we were going to go like play pool or something like that. Like I want to go bowling, play pool, watch a movie, you know, like those are the things I want to do. Not the doggone gym. I'm not doing it. Y'all, don't invite me. I'm so offended by the gym invite. I'm so offended.
So what are you trying to say about me?
Sir, you swipe right on me. I gave you a full body. That's it. This is what you're going to get. That's it. You know, so anyway.
You're going to poop and like it.
Daria says Barnes and Noble, and then BK Cindy says one of my fave dates was at Barnes and Noble. I'm not gonna lie, me personally, again, you got to know who you're dealing with. Since law school, Kim, I'm not into books anymore. Since law school ruined it for me. So I don't read too often at this point. So Barnes and Nobles wouldn't work for me, but it works for a lot of other women. So yeah, that's a good dating place.
Yeah, I mean, I like Barnes and Noble. I make Hugh drive me there just to walk around and look at books. I mean, I don't think I can read them anymore, but you know, I like to, you know, walk around.
Just to browse. You know what I like doing? Like I would like getting in the car and just driving to wherever, right? And talking and listening to music. Like that is such a dope. I think that's so underrated and such a dope experience.
Or listen to audiobooks. Hugh and I used to
what?
We would listen to audiobooks, funny ones. Like we would listen to Tiffany Haddish's book, which was hilarious.
Like those are some, just y'all fellas, just take notes. These are some awesome, you know, dating ideas. So we've given you tips and tricks, do's and don'ts on this date naps, y'all. Please listen. We took the time out to give you these tips. Please use them, okay? And then we've also talked about how you can find love on the dating apps. And I know quite a few people who have found love on the dating apps. I do not happen to be one of them, but I know lots of people who have been very successful, you know? So they do work as long as both people are intentional, right? Keisha, listen, I keep calling her all kind of names. Keisha says, I don't think places you have taken your exes several times where they know you.
How would you know? Like,
how would the other person know that you've taken? Yeah, that's a good question. How would you know? Greg says check his playlist to see whether y'all are gonna fight about the music. Greg, I dated an older gentleman. Let me tell y'all, we fought. I thought that, you know, because he was like 12 years older than me, I thought that maybe if I played 90s music, like that was a good compromise, you know? He wanted 70s and 80s, and I was born in the 80s. I can't relate, right? So we would fight about that on road trips all the time, and he would get upset and get all salty. It was terrible. Yeah, definitely figure out what his playlist is. And if y'all can relate to one another and listen to the same music and not fight about the music. That's a good one, Greg.
I'm not allowed to pick the music in my husband's car.
You're not allowed to pick the music?
No, because I like trap music. I like music that
Right.
I like to pretend like I'm a drug dealer, like I'm doing
Correct.
about to go do a drive by, and
Correct.
he's just not into that kind of. Sometimes he'll play it for me because it makes me happy, like, but it's like pretty much whoever's driving gets to pick, and I like to be driven, so that's just one of those stupid compromises.
Now, listen, that might be a lawyer thing because I too am a trap fan and really, really love trap music. And I've pulled up to many court hearings, bumping loudly my trap music, okay, to get me ready. You know what I'm saying? To get my juices going.
Like recently, I learned all the words to "Nuck If You Buck," so.
Oh. Oh no, it's a good song.
I mean, it is a great hearing preparation song.
Absolutely. Like you want your lawyer to be fired up and ready to go. You know what I'm saying? And those trap, like when you pretending like you in a trap house and like you connect with the clients.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Anyways, that's too much information. So, y'all, Kim, is there anything that you're doing that you want to tell the people about before we get out of here?
Like what?
I don't know anything that you want to tell them.
Well, The Color Purple is on Netflix, and I paused it to come do this with you.
I saw that.
So, yeah, I mean, like, this is not a drill. I'm about to go watch Celie curse Mister with her two fingers. Like
yes, no. Color Purple is on Netflix, y'all. Go ahead and check it out. Other than that, I appreciate y'all for tuning in yet another week for Dear Future Husband. Okay, we gave you all the tips and tricks to be successful on the dating apps. Y'all make sure that if you get married because of these tips and tricks, that you invite me as the flower girl, one of them. Okay, you owe me that. And I will talk to you soon, guys. Till next week, next Thursday, 7 p.m. I'll holla at y'all. Bye.